What's going on, everybody? Cigar Titan here once again with another episode of Smoke Signals and Side Quests. This is episode number 5 for all of you out there, and man, do we have an incredible show for you here today. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. You have found Smoke Signals and Side Quests on YouTube. You can also check us out for the audio versions over on Spotify and Amazon Music. But before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Maybe tell us what you'd like to see in a future episode. We love the engagement, and we're open to some ideas here. So don't be shy. Get into the comments and let us know what you'd like to see. I'd like to bring one of our first co-hosts to the stage, Mr. Red Beard Riot. How are you, sir?
Oh, the reddest.
The reddest
Yes,
of the
sir.
reds.
Yes, sir. We're doing good, man. We are doing good.
Brother.
Having a good week.
Awesome. How was your week?
Pretty good. Oh, man. Listen, sometimes as a man, one of the things that you have to do is admit when you were wrong, admit when you messed up. I know.
Yeah.
Last weekend, we were trying to mix a couple of different things together. Stuff didn't work out. I got super frustrated. I was a bit of an asshole to the wife, and had to apologize for that. Had to admit that I was wrong. And look, you don't get it right all the time, and this is just how relationships happen. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. When you're wrong, you got to say you're wrong. That's just the way it goes.
I couldn't agree more. I might have a story of my own there. A fairly recent story.
I was also thinking about this week. If I were to say to you, I don't have a birthday,
I would assume you were saying I don't celebrate my birthday. Maybe
no, I don't have one. I don't have one. That's dumb.
I would argue that that's impossible. But
well, you might argue that, right? Why? Because everybody's born. If you're born, you have a birthday, right? So saying I don't have a birthday would require me to explain how it is that I was never born, and that would be ridiculous. By the same token, if I were to say to you, let's say I come over to your house in the morning and you're polishing off that morning donut, reading your newspaper, finishing up your coffee, and I walk in and I say, hey, man, oh, dang, that donut you just ate is making some delicious farts inside my tummy right now.
I'm going to look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah, because in order for me to, say what I said and have it be true,
you had to have eaten the donut.
I would have to be able to explain to you how it is that I just ate your donut that you just got done eating, right?
Yes. I'm intrigued. Go on.
This, sir, is a very basic example of a concept called causality.
Okay.
And basically all that says is in order for one thing to be true, something must have preceded it that's also true. You can't say that you never have a birthday or that you don't have a birthday and not be able to explain how it is that you weren't born, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
I'd have to tell you how it is that, my tummy is making farts with your donut. And I'd have to be able to explain to you how it is that, well, I ate your donut, not you, right? That's ridiculous. So if you were to come up to me and say, Tyler Robinson was framed, you would have to explain to me how it is that his father turned him in.
Right.
Okay. If you can't do that, then the laws of nature, the fabric of the universe is telling me that you're an idiot.
Well, everybody knows Tyler Robinson's dad is an Israeli PSYOP agent. So
listen, I will go down this rabbit hole with you, but you first have to be able to explain to me that his dad's in on the take. He's part of the frame up. His dad made him a patsy. Maybe he's gay lovers with Lance Twiggs and they're setting him up to take the fall. Great. I love a good conspiracy theory. But you gotta bring me some evidence if you wanna say something that on its face sounds retarded.
And what a perfect name for a gay man. Twigs.
Lance Twigs. That's right.
Lance Twigs.
But listen, I don't want to get too crazy on that. I just wanted to let everybody know who was in our comment section last week, having a freak out. Listen, the universe says that you just got wrecked by facts and logic. So bring the evidence. Bring it. If this is your first time getting wrecked by facts and logic, welcome to Smoke Signals and Side Quests, right? Love it. In any case,
Mr. Red Bear Riot is our resident fact expert or fexpert.
Listen, I was talking last week a little bit about these bumps that are outside of the grocery store.
Yes,
and
I remember that.
We had Debbie in the chat. She wanted to make sure that I knew that those bumps are there for the visually impaired. And that's great. I actually already knew that. It was a joke, but
right.
In any case, it did bring up something interesting to me, right? And that essentially has to do with this idea of, here in America, we oftentimes very much cater to minorities, right?
Sure. I would agree with that.
Yep. And if somebody were to legitimately ask that question and say, hey, what's the purpose for this thing? And let's say they legitimately didn't know and they were super angry about it. They'd be like, hey, listen, that's there so that blind people can step on it and understand that there's a street, something to this effect. And the vast majority of people will say, oh, okay, I got no problem with that. Same thing here, right? I got no problem with that. The thing is as a mechanical designer by trade, I look at it and I still have the same problem that when I run over that with my shopping cart, it rattles the hell out of me. If I got arthritis in my hands, I'm going to be crying about it. So the thing that I'm doing is like, listen, I'm perfectly happy to compromise. Can we take and make those things potentially out of rubber so that it's not such a chore to run them over? I had a picture that I was going to upload and share, and apparently that's disappeared into nothing now, but it was a picture of a shopping cart with some big fat mudders on it, right?
Okay.
If we can all have a shopping cart with some giant hefty, tires on there, we can roll over those things no problem, and then blind people can still step on them and not get hit by cars. Anyway, that's wins. All I've got. That's
everybody
all I've got.
Wins. Listen, I want my lifted shopping cart.
0.3% of the U.S. population is blind. And we're going to take care of those 0.3%. That goes to show how kind and generous that Americans are. We give the most amount of our disposable income away. We give the most amount to charity. So anybody who wants to be in the comments section talking about evil America, whatever, stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's get our second co-host to the stage. He is our resident movie expert, Mr. Sergeant Grumpy Pants. How the hell are you, sir?
I'm doing well, and I think you used the term expert a little too loosely in my recognition.
I certainly did not. Nope. I'll add this. I'll add this. I'll say that you are certainly the resident movie expert among the group.
Oh, okay. That's fair, actually, because there's only 3 of us, so the numbers are small.
You have a knack for remembering what movie is what from quotes. You have this knack for being able to remember actors and actresses, and you have an uncanny ability to recite movies on cue without having to go back and watch and rememorize lines and things like that. You are certainly the movie expert here.
Well,
so good.
To quote Lord Tyrion from Games of Thrones, I drink and I know stuff. That's about it, really. Like,
That's it. How was your week, sir?
God, I love Games of Thrones.
Games of Thrones.
Games.
Yeah. Games of Thrones is always good. Very uneventful. My week was very, very passive. very little aggressive. I went on a couple motorcycle bike rides. But we've been having a lot of monsoons here. So we definitely need the weather, like the rain. And we have definitely got it, which is nice because it is cooling down the area out of triple digits, finally getting into cooler weather like 95, 97.
Ooh, chilly.
That feels really good here, though, comparatively to 105, 107. 10 degrees cooler is still 10 degrees cooler. I enjoy it, though, because everything just gets saturated. And when it gets so wet here, the desert comes alive and there's more green, less brown. So it looks a lot less like a doo-doo stain on someone's undershorts.
Right.
And a little more green, which is, more lush and lively and life-like. I love that. So the desert comes alive. But yeah, it's a very uneventful week for myself, sir. The only thing I wound up doing was the task that I was tasked with, and I tasked it out. I tasked it hard.
You tasked the shit out of it, sir.
I tasked the shit out of it, and I did just that. So, and I'm excited to get into that. But how was your week?
My week was good. It was during the week was a little slow. Me and Mrs. Titan yesterday went to go see the Phantom of the Opera. And I have to say, I mentioned this earlier when Redbeard was talking about, sometimes a man just has to admit when he was wrong. Last night, I have to admit when I was wrong, and I was not having
punch the Phantom in the face.
No. The show and everything was incredible.
Nice.
It was the moments that were kind of leading up to us going out and seeing that. So it just started off with, I ended up, you're going to laugh and it sounds silly. But she went out and she bought me some slacks and everything for the show. And so apparently I've put on a pound or two extra since, the last time I bought a pair of pants.
Just more of you to love.
Yeah. And these slacks were incredibly tight to the point to where it felt like it was giving me anxiety because we didn't have time to come back home and change. And so it was hugging everything very tight. It was putting a lot of pressure on my bladder.
You get a codpiece.
Yeah. I had to stop 3 times on the way out there to go to the bathroom. It was crushing my nuts. And it genuinely, I think, gave me a bit of an anxiety attack last night. And so I was in a shit ass mood leading up to this. And she's talking to me. And I
sounds like you had grumpy pants.
I had the worst case of actual grumpy pants you could get. Yes, you are spot on. It was, and she's like, well, I know it's hard. She's trying to calm me down, and I'm laughing about it now, but we certainly weren't laughing yesterday. And I'm just like, I'm fucking and you're over there flapping your gums at I was just being a total, absolute, complete dick. And so, babe, if you're watching this or you watch this later, I truly, truly am sorry.
We are sorry.
It was, I was just being a total jerk last night leading up to that. And so we finally got there. I sat in the seat and I'm like, I just got to grit my teeth and bear it. No, but it was close. It was close. They were really tight.
Sit down.
So we watched the show. The entire show was incredible. First time I've actually been to the theater and actually sat through an entire event.
Nice.
So it was really nice to see that. The set pieces were just awesome. The singing, everybody's performance, just top notch. It was really a spectacle to see. And so, I felt a little bad too after, kind of giving her shitty half of the night. And so I went out and bought tickets for Beauty and the Beast. So we're going to go and see Beauty and the Beast live in August and check that out. And I will be sure next time to wear some pants that fit me appropriately. So I don't have a case of the grumpy pants.
Did she help you take those tight pants off afterwards?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, she was pissed, man. And she had every right to be. She was so pissed. She did not want anything to do with me last night, man. And I tell you,
man.
It's too bad karma doesn't take instant effect sometimes, because your zipper would have separated. You know when the teeth of a zipper separate, and then you can't.
If karma,
you can't rethread it, and so you're just walking around everywhere with your zipper. Just
no. If karma were to match the level of assholery that I was on last night, my pants would have not only ripped, but my zipper would have shot up, caught my nuts, and ripped half of it off, because I was just, I was not a pleasant person to be around yesterday, and I got to do better at that. And so I need to be more mindful of that and wear clothes that fit.
You got to do better.
Yeah.
In your defense,
to do better.
In your defense, you didn't buy the pants. The gesture that she did was sweet.
It was. It absolutely was.
It was very sweet.
It was a very sweet gesture.
But did you not have time to try them on before you left the house? Or she was like, no, you're wearing these pants.
I did. So I put them on before we left, and I'm like, these are a little tight, but I didn't really gauge. I assumed that they would stretch a little bit as you wear them. You know, jeans do that, right? First time you buy a pair of jeans are always like very stiff, but you break them in and they get more comfortable. I was assuming that this would happen with the slacks last night, but it just didn't, and they didn't get looser. So we went to dinner before that, and I'm like, I can't even eat these things. I'm not kidding. I got a salad. She got a filet mignon steak and potatoes, and I got the salad. God. I felt like such a bitch last night, just sitting there through this whole thing. And no, I drove last night.
Did she hold your purse when you went to the bathroom?
Yeah. She held my purse when I went to the bathroom. Yes, she did. I deserve all of that. I was a total dick.
God bless you.
Oh,
sir.
man.
God bless you.
All right. Anyway, let's get on with the show. We've got quite an episode for everybody today. But before we get into that, Redbeard Riot, can we go through our apologies for last week? Last week's episode, was certainly quite the event, and it stirred up a lot of controversy. But I'd like to hear who we have to apologize to this week.
Oh, we've got a few. We've got a couple of apologies. I've just been handed our list of apologies by our wonderful blue-haired HR lady.
Yay!
Yay!
Tell Agnes to fuck off.
Yeah, well. You can tell her. I'm sure she'd like it. All right. Well, listen, we here at Smoke Signals and Side Quests want to make sure that everyone knows that they are welcome here. We may, from time to time, say something here or there that ruffles some feathers. We want you to know that, in fact, this is all in fun. We're having a good time. So we send out our sincerest and deepest apologies to Mrs. Grumpy Pants, Carmax, Trans Furries, people who can't get out of jury duty, Candace Owens, she is stunning and brave, dumb people, vengeful exes, people who have prophetic dreams, people who wear tinfoil hats, blind people, Debbie O21, that one's for you, Debbie, there are our new Braille expert, tradesmen, Boy Scouts of America, Kyle Rittenhouse, Robert Bly, the AI, Will Smith, the Manosphere, the Blue Fairy, Pinocchio. We deeply apologize, as well as we welcome a new smoke signaler, quester,
side quester.
We haven't decided what to call you guys yet. Gonna butcher this name, Jamila Areste. Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, let's not call
Sorry that it's so shitty.
Let's not call our subscribers the SSers.
No, we certainly don't want to do that.
Not the SSers. All right.
No, not that at all.
If you're new to Smoke Signals and Side Quests and you are following us, it doesn't always allow us to see who is following. So if you want to be called out in a future episode, drop a comment down below and shout out your name. Say, hey, I just joined Smoke Signals and Side Quests. I'm a fellow side quester. Or help us come up with an idea. Hell, I don't know. We'll call you out in a future episode.
Yes,
that's good stuff. I like that.
We've got some comments here in the chat.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Go read them
up. Polar Knight says, as a barber, I love this show. It's every stage of beard growth. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. This is like a sweet poster at a barbershop. Beards and cigars. Good morning from Norway. Well,
Norway.
Good morning to you.
You're way out there.
Good to have you.
Yes. All right, gentlemen, let's get into the first segment of the show that we would like to call
Oh.
Whoa. Hey, guys.
What's happening?
Hey, guys. Didn't see you there.
Got my conspiracy helmet on for, anti-mind readers.
Love it.
Well, let's set the stage for this. So, recently, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey released in movie theaters across the globe.
I gotta take this off.
Last Friday or yesterday, actually. And we sent Sergeant Grumpy Pants out, press pass and all, to go and check out the new movie, The Odyssey. And you're going to give us your official review of The Odyssey today and tell us a little bit about it and whether this movie is a smash or is it a pass. So the stage is yours, sir.
Thank you so very much. And thank you again for assigning me to something that I absolutely dreaded going to do in the first place. But because I love you guys, I love our audience and the ever-growing presence that we have with new subscribers, I did this for them and for you guys. So never forget, I love you somewhere in the line of things.
That's a little thick.
Just-
You're
yeah,
pouring on a little thick.
I'm pouring it on very thick, actually, like paste. So no, I mean, what do you guys want to know? I can give you my opinion. You can ask questions. What would you like to know? I went and saw this movie.
Well, tell us.
Well,
Yeah, give us your movie review, your unofficial
review.
movie review.
Let's do
unofficial movie review. Okay, my unofficial movie review. Well, I wound up going to the movie theaters, and yes, as you said, I had a Smoke Signals and Side Quest press pass. Here it
Nice.
is, right here, double-sided, laminated, ready to go.
I mean, if it's laminated, then you know it's official.
I mean,
official.
it had to have been, right? So I said, I don't want to spend my money on this movie because I'm not trying to help generate revenue for box office sales at all. So I walked up. The movie theater shall remain nameless, and the individual that I dealt with shall remain nameless, because if this happens to get out there again, I don't want to blow my chances because I, threw them under the bus. But I walked up, said, hello, my name is David Montauk. I'm with an independent online social media group, Smoke Signals and Side Quest. Yes, that was the name I used, actually. And I'm here to do a movie review for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. And I was wondering if you guys do any special, things for people coming in to do reviews. And he said, well, are you local? Yes, I am. He said, yeah, not a problem. Go ahead and choose a seat. I said, really? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Sure. So I picked a seat, went into the theater, and it was completely empty when I walked in. Completely
What a
empty.
shock.
Bare
What a
bones,
shock.
nothing there. But it did fill up. I think there was a total of 10 people in the theater by the time I got done counting, myself
my.
included. Right.
Okay.
Most people came in couples. One other person was sitting by themselves, but they weren't sitting next to
This
me.
was
but they were
also
in-
like a 9:30 a.m. showing.
Right.
9:40 a.m. Yes, it was very
Okay.
early in the morning. So it was very, very early. I will say this. I was just as surprised to tell you this as I was to kind of come to this conclusion on my own. I liked it. I'm not lying. I actually liked it. Yeah, I'm not giving you guys any bullshit here. I liked the
Did you
movie.
like all of it?
No, I didn't. There are aspects of it that made me go, I'm gonna cringe. I had to write that down. For instance, let's go back to 2004, the movie Troy. Okay,
Yeah.
not everyone spoke with an accent. I mean, if people had a natural British accent or the received pronunciation accent, they just kept it, right? And they just roll with it. They didn't go with the acting thing, all or none. Everybody commits to an accent or nobody does, right? They just kind of, whoever spoke, however they spoke, you just spoke that way. And this was how they spoke. The Odyssey kind of did the same thing, but nobody had an accent in it, from what I recall. Everybody spoke with basically an American pronunciation, right?
Midwestern
Everybody
American.
spoke it. Right. And the thing that threw me out of it was because my brain had already gotten used to like the show Game of Thrones and other movies that are period pieces, so to speak. Most people speak with that English accent, so to speak, even if they're what's not an English thing, they could be Greek or they could be, from Macedonia or I don't know, pick a country, and they just speak with that language. It kind of is a fantasy language, so to speak. So it kind of took me out of that suspension of disbelief for a moment. And I was like, okay, after a while, it wasn't too bad. But then they dropped things that made me go, what the fuck? For instance, Robert Pattinson, his character, and there's going to be spoilers here, so I really hope I'm not going to ruin this for anybody, but there's something here. Literally, Robert Pattinson and Tom Holland's character are getting into it. Tom Holland plays the son of Odysseus. His name is Telemachus. And Robert Pattinson happens to be one of the suitors that's waiting around for Penelope to choose him or someone else, right? And he gets into a conversation with Tom Holland's character and says, you're just waiting around you're pining for a daddy that's dead and gone or something like that. But he said daddy. And I'm like, what? What? Did he say daddy? Really? He didn't say father or something that would have been a little bit more Bronze Age appropriate for this, which really threw me out of it. And I was like, he said daddy. That's just weird.
Super current vernacular for a period piece will take you out.
And that's exactly what happened. Suspension of disbelief just kind of went in that moment. But they kind of reeled me back in a little bit. And I say this in a good way. It's going to be hard for me to not say his name this way, but Matt Damon, he literally, I think he did a very, I think you're, there you go, you're muted. Matt Damon, I think he did a great job. He did a very good job. Charlize Theron did a very good job. Anne Hathaway did a very good job. John Leguizamo, I think he did a pretty decent job. He wasn't terrible. He did a pretty decent job at portraying what it was that he was doing. Tom Holland, good. Robert Pattinson, he was the epitome of the guy you really wanted to punch in the face, right? King Joffrey from Game of Thrones, like that,
right.
Kind of that same vibe. You really wanted this guy to get decked and laid out. He just was an ass. But there were things that happened throughout it that just kind of brought me back in. And the storytelling, although it was modern day, very current vernacular, it was enough to kind of just make me go, but not enough to make me go, okay, I'm going to stand up and walk out of here. I'm here. I'm going to see this thing. And I got to see it for free, so it wasn't terrible. The biggest question on everybody's mind was, how big was Ellen Page's, and I'm saying Ellen Page because that was her birth name, and it's a woman. Ellen Page's part with this movie. Okay. Ellen Page's part with this movie tops 5 to 7 minutes out of a 2 hour and 52 minute sprawling, very, very long movie.
So not the lead character everybody thought this person was going to be, because everybody was saying, oh, she's going to end up being,
right. Achilles, right? The mighty warrior.
Did they put that out there to drum up the controversy?
I think they did. I think it was because
they put it out there. I think
maybe not them.
People assumed, right? They were trying to read the tea leaves of all of this, and everybody assumed, okay, this is the Odyssey. Nobody's announced who Achilles is going to be yet, and so then they let it drop that Ellen Page or Elliot Page was going to be in the movie. And then everybody, I think, came to their own conclusions, and that's probably where it started. And to their credit, they just let people run with that narrative to drum up conversation around the movie. I mean, you look at it real quick, you can see there on the screen, this is one of the most ratioed movies of all time. It's got 98,000, I think, likes and 872,000 dislikes.
Yeah.
That's quite the ratio.
They may have not started the rumor, but they certainly didn't go around trying to correct it. They just let it play out.
Right.
They literally
let the controversy swirl because no press is bad press.
Right. So even if it's bad, people are talking about it. We're still talking about it, right? So it's going to drum up some sort of conversation behind this piece. But it was 5 to 7 minutes max, and I don't even know why Ellen Page's character was in this, because it wasn't anything great. The acting that she did wasn't anything like amazing. It wasn't anything that made me go, "Oh my god, she's such a great actor."
Was it relevant to the story at all in any way?
Kind of. I mean, the first 5 minutes. Within that first 5 minutes, Ellen Page's character is sitting on the beach drinking water, and then the Trojans are riding up to receive the Trojan horse that's on the beach.
She drinks a Bud Light,
and she stands up. She starts running towards the horse, and in armor that looks like her suit's tailored way too big. So it looked like a little kid wearing his dad's armor too. I had everything I could to stifle the laughter. Right, I was just like, right. Where's your little bucket and pail and shovel for making sandcastles, kid? Because that's what you kind of look like on the beach. Went running towards the horse, and then sure enough, stuck with an arrow, and then a spear. Dead. Said nothing except maybe like one line in that moment, but dead. And that was like the first 90 seconds max of her existence in the movie. And then the movie goes on to tell the sprawling tale. Later on, when he visits the island of the dead, right? Sinan, which is her character, then bestows upon Odysseus some information about, oh my God, this is what's going to happen. Relevant, sure, but I think they made it more relevant than it actually needed to be, simply because it was a controversial person playing a figure that they wanted to have in the movie for one reason or another.
I think that's supposed to be Achilles' character in the book, who performs that role in the underworld with Odysseus, and they swapped it out. They put Sinan in there instead.
Right. And they put Sinan in there, so it might not be the
so
name
maybe there's
Achilles.
your Sinan Achilles swap that everybody's,
Sure.
That's your flip
Right.
around, I guess.
Very well could be. And Ellen Page has been in a Christopher Nolan movie before. I think she was in Inception. So I think a lot of directors like to go back to the casting boards with actors and actresses that they've worked with in the past. I mean, look what Robert De Niro with Martin Scorsese, or Leonardo DiCaprio, or Harrison Ford with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, right? They kind of go back and pull these characters for, Han Solo or Indiana Jones or Leonardo DiCaprio with a bunch of other things, right? So I think that might be what Christopher Nolan was doing, saying, hey, you want to make some money? You haven't acted for a while, and I got a part for you. It's not real big, but I mean, it's something to come back out of your transition. Who knows? Maybe that was what they were thinking. Maybe not. I don't know. But it just seemed very lackluster, and the acting that she delivered, it wasn't anything fantastic. The movie, in my opinion, was definitively driven by Matt Damon, Charlize Theron, and Anne Hathaway. They carried the movie.
What about Lupita Nyong'o? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that
Lupita
last name.
Nyong'o, yes.
Nyong'o.
She was, in fact, Helen of Troy and Helen's twin sister, whose name I don't care. But
Was
the one who was married.
Was she appropriately cast?
No, inappropriately cast. Completely inappropriately cast. Not that she's not a beautiful person in her own right. Sure, people are pretty in
but
their
this
own
is
right,
supposed to be
in
the
their own way.
woman that
that launched 1,000 ships.
Exactly.
The most beautiful Greek woman.
Yeah.
Right.
It would be as inappropriate to cast an 80-year-old man to play Peter Parker in Spider-Man. Why?
Fair.
It doesn't fit the bill, right? It just doesn't fit the bill. But she was in it maybe 7 to 10 minutes. Very, very, again, very, very small role. And even then, when you see her, this is after Telemachus, Tom Holland's character, goes and visits Menelaus, which I think is the guy who plays, I can't remember his name, but he plays the Punisher in the TV show that was on.
Yeah,
what's his name? What's his name? John Bernthal?
Yeah.
John Bernthal, something like that. He plays Menelaus, who is Agamemnon's brother. And that is who Helen of Sparta or whatever is married to. And they make a reference where he was like, yeah, the face that lost 1,000 ships, right? And then he turns her head and the whole left side of her face is scarred up. And he's like, well, now maybe 500 ships. And I'm like, ow, that's burn. But all right. But it didn't really, why? Why was it there? Other than, once again, maybe to just drum up conversation and controversy. It wasn't anything fantastic. It wasn't anything that she was so great at. But she had a duality part where she played the twin sister of the wife of Agamemnon, Menelaus's brother, the king of Greece, so to speak. And she had that moment where she played that role, and then the twin sister Helen.
Some people are talking about the movie being a little bit longer than it needs to be.
Yes, very much so. It was a little long and drawn out, but I think he was really trying to do the justice of making this seem like a 10-year voyage home in the span of what he could do with what he had, so people's butts wouldn't become numb. I think they missed a very big opportunity here. They should have broken this down into several different movies.
Make it 2 movies.
Like the books, right? Like the books covered 1 through 5 or whatever. This dealt with this part of the voyage, and then 6 through whatever. Break it down in that way. It could have been a little bit better to make it a sprawling epic type of movie series. If they had done it that way, I think it probably would have been better. Again, you're trying to cram 10 years into less than 3 hours. But less than 3 hours, I mean generously by 8 minutes, right? But I think he did a pretty good job. And it's a Christopher Nolan movie. The reason why I liked it so much is because he has a very good way cinematically of reminding you as the audience, we as people, how small we are in relation to the world with his big, huge, sprawling cinematic scope shots. And very little CGI was used in this movie when it came to the boats and the ships and the actors at sea and things of that nature. So what you're seeing is less digitized, which was pretty cool in that aspect. And I think they filmed this in 70 millimeter as well, because I don't think he ever films in digital. I think he does everything in film. Christopher Nolan does. So the movie was beautiful, visually stunning. I liked it for that aspect. And it told a good story. The reasons why I didn't like it were very, very minuscule. It was the modern day speech using modern day words. I mean, the word dad didn't come around till I think the 16th century.
Yeah, I heard they were
Well
trying to
after.
make it more approachable by using modern vernacular, like Redbeard said
Sure.
earlier. But this is supposed to be a historical movie.
A Bronze Age. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, when you're going to see a movie like this, you're usually a fan of these types of movies already, as they are. I don't know that you need to change the way people are talking outside of making it in English, obviously, so people understand, you know, and they don't have to read subtitles throughout the entire movie. But changing the dialect is basically what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah.
Sure.
To adapt or to be more
Relatable.
approachable for everybody. Yeah, exactly. For everybody else. That just seems silly to me.
It just takes you out of the moment.
It did.
Exactly.
And that was those were the brief moments where the suspension of disbelief was shattered. And I was just like, all right, let's get back into it. There was a very unnerving scene where his whole crew goes to this island of at number 9, if you could see it. And I don't know how to approach it. According to the picture right here, number 9, follow the chart, number 9, where it says the goddess Circe turns the crew into swine. Okay. Number 9. It looks like it might be the island of Mallorca. I'm not exactly sure, but that's how far he got off. Let's just chart this real quick, okay? Battle of Troy, all the way over to the right. Number 1, Troy. Odysseus leaves with 12 ships. He needs to get to where number 17 is, Ithaca. That's it. That's all the distance he has to go. But look how far he goes, and he circles back around, right?
He had
Like,
one job.
He had what? He's a horrible circumnavigator of the
All he had to do was use GPS or Google Maps. He'd have gotten there in
could
no
have just
time.
hopped a ferry or a train. Who knows, man? But at the same time, this is what the way it was written, apparently. And it just got me thinking, because when he was on this journey, I'm like, why is it so far? That doesn't correlate in my mind. But because of everything that happened on the island of Sicily, which where the Cyclops was, you know, Odysseus blinded the Polyphemus, Polychronopolis, whatever the hell his name is, it doesn't matter. That was the son of Poseidon, and so that's why he got blown so all over the known world of the Mediterranean Sea and went on these 10-year adventure. But yeah, that scene where Circe turns the entire crew into swine, it was unnerving to watch. So unnerving to watch. I watched it and I was like, oh my God, this is grotesque. But it took every fiber of my being not to stand up and go like, I got to get out of here. This is sparking something inside me that just doesn't set well. I didn't like it, but I sat through it and I watched it and I was like, okay, I'm glad I did. It was very unnerving.
Do you also have a problem with the movie Willow?
Oh, you know what? In that moment where she turns them all into swine, that was a little bit much as well. That metamorphosis change, but this one was more hands-on. Like she was taking faces and stretching and pulling, and forcing jaws to dislocate and stuff like that to take shape of. It was pretty unnerving to say the least. But I did like the movie. It was beautiful, aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Moments where it took you out of the suspension of disbelief with the modern vernacular. Tom Holland dropping weapons to Odysseus. You know, Telemachus is like, Dad! I'm like, bro, come on, man. You couldn't think of anything better. Father! You know, you couldn't just say his name, Odysseus, and just drop him the weapons. No, Dad! Moments like that.
Did you happen to notice the audio, the sound design?
Be more specific. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking.
So some of the criticisms of Christopher Nolan movies oftentimes will be that the sound design in the movie sometimes people call it poor sound design, where
Mhm.
maybe there's two people who are having a conversation,
Sure.
and rather than the conversation being at the front of the audio, the
Mhm.
conversation is kind of jammed into the middle of the audio, and so you're hearing all the sort of background and all the other conversations that are happening
So it'd be
along
like a
with it.
distraction?
Well, it's not so much a distraction as much as in certain instances you almost have to like really lean in to like
Sure.
pick out what it is that they're saying, because there's other background stuff that is flooding in the rest of the sound.
I did not notice anything like that through the entire film.
Okay.
Nothing like that. Actually, to his credit, Christopher Nolan, I think, had a brilliant idea the way he filmed this scene. And it was a scene where they were going by the sirens, right? The sirens call that would lure men to their deaths on the rocky cliffs of the ocean. And,
Yeah.
they'd all drown and die.
Did they hit the ATM machine first?
Yeah, because they needed to make it rain. And $1 bill. No, to Matt Damon's credit, he was like, all right, everybody get wax for their ears for the crew. So that way they cannot hear the sirens call. They won't be swayed, and we can just sail on through past and no problems whatsoever. He's like, everybody but me. Tie me to the mast. And his first mate, who is also played by the guy who was in the movie Yesterday. He's like an Indian guy, East Indian guy. I don't know his name. He did a very good job in the movie as well. He was like, are you sure that's a good idea? I don't think it's a good idea. And Matt Damon's character is like, oh, it's a great idea because I'll be one of the only ones who ever heard the song of the siren, and I won't be tempted because I will be tied to the mast. And the whole movie kind of goes deafening silent.
I love the recklessness of this man who's like, yeah, we've been blown off course.
Right.
We're like 8 years out of like when
Right.
we were supposed to get home.
Yeah.
But as long as we're here.
Yeah. He said he took advantage of it so he could hear what it was that was being done. So to the sound design, what happened was the audio got very quiet because everyone, once he put the wax in his ears, the first mate, everything went quiet. And all you could hear is a low hum from what sounded to me like a cello going. And the entire time you're seeing the crew row. You're not hearing the oars hit the water. You're not hearing them go, nothing. And then you hear, you don't hear, but you see the entire time Matt Damon's character, Odysseus, tied to the mast, and he's just like yelling, screaming, looks like he's in pain, but he's also laughing, but he's also crying at the same time. And I was like, wow, that was a pretty powerful scene. The fact that it was very, like, no audio whatsoever, except for that low resonating hum of what sounded like a cello, just as a bass line playing, right? All the way through that entire scene. I thought that was really well done. Kudos to him in that. I thought it was a very, very brilliant way to artistically express that. I think he did a great job with that. That's my opinion of that scene, but it was very well done. But that's the only thing I can really say with the audio that really stood out in my mind that really, that I can definitively remember. There was nothing that was like the audio and then like all the surround sound of anything that seemed like it was either maybe not distracting, but I didn't really have to really strain to hear anything. Everything was very clear as a bell up until that point. But it was I liked the movie. Despite the fact that Helen of Troy was Lupita Nyong'o, the fact that the character Sinan was in it, and it raised so much controversy prior to the movie being shown.
So let me ask you this,
Yeah.
Sergeant Grumpy Pants.
Sure.
Now, having seen the movie, do you think that the casting choices there with Lupita and Ellen Page or Elliot Page were strategic to drum up conversation around this movie to get people talking
100%.
about it?
Yeah, 100%.
Or do you think he's gone woke? Because Christopher Nolan has never really leaned into any of the woke tropes in any of his previous movies, right? And he hasn't, sacrificed casting decisions on behalf of DEI or anything like that. Do we think he was catering to the woke mob with this movie, or do we think he did this strategically to drum up controversy and conversation around the movie to get more butts in seats?
Can't both be true? I mean, think about it. I think maybe he did it just specifically or strategically for both of those points, right? maybe there was some history because he worked with Ellen Page in the past, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm making a movie. Do you want to be a part of it?" Goes back to the drawing board and pulls an actor that he's familiar with, right? So he gets Ellen Page in there and does the thing. And yes, oh my God, Achilles. She's playing Achilles. There's no way that this trans person can play Achilles, right? Well, we never said he was playing Achilles, but at the same time, I mean, we're not going to correct you. We're just going to let it fly. And then Lupita Nyong'o, this is the face that launched 1,000 ships. I mean, yeah, she's cast as Helena Troy, but what's wrong with that? You know, they could play the. What are you talking about?
Well,
we didn't do anything like that. What do you mean?
Helen of Troy was Greek and
Right.
white.
Yeah, and I think a better casting choice for that myself personally. It just was inappropriately cast for those characters, in my opinion. For Helena Troy, I'm particularly fond of Alexandra Daddario, I think is her name.
Alexandra Daddario.
Daddario. Look her up, and look her up like Alexandra Daddario in a toga. I think she was. I think she was.
Yeah,
and if you can't find that, get us an AI image.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I know who this is.
I think she would have been a much better Helen of Sparta or Helen of Troy or whatever. Yeah, her.
Yeah, she's a very pretty woman. She's got
very pretty.
Those eyes that kind of pop.
Right, but then again, would that have been? Oh well, this is a movie that's whitewashed, right? It's not going to drum up any conversation.
Here's the thing: like, I hate it when that term gets thrown around there. And there are movies, ironically, that like Matt Damon has been in where they clearly whitewashed the movie.
Sure.
And it was, I can't remember what the name of the movie was, but it was specifically about like the Great Wall of China and the Mongols and stuff like that. I don't remember what it was, but that was a whitewashed movie. When you're talking about a story that is historically placed in a specific region with specific people. Yeah. Well, in this one in particular, I mean, it's supposed to take place in Greece, right? So, you know, and not a single Greek person, from what I understand, was cast in any of the roles in this movie. And so,
where's John Stamos?
It's not whitewashing if that's what the story calls for. I just hate this revisionist history bullcrap where we we swap people out because we've got to make our DEI quota. You would not make a movie about Martin Luther King Jr. and then cast Ryan Gosling as Martin Luther King. You just wouldn't do that.
The caveat that I've been told is, well, this is not a true story anyway, so what does it really matter? And be like, okay, well, how upset would you guys be if they want to cast?
Piece. It is a period piece. That's why it matters, because it takes place in a specific location at a specific time when people of those ethnic backgrounds would not have otherwise existed in those roles.
Well, I think it takes you out of the moment. In the same way,
it's distracting.
That modern vernacular takes you out of the moment.
Yes, that was distracting.
You're like, oh, well, what's that? And like, that's not to say that, sometimes you can't do, the race swap or whatever it is.
Sure.
Sometimes.
Yeah, we talked about He-Man, Man of Arms, right?
We talked about that a little bit, and sometimes I just don't care. But very interesting when it's specifically like some kind of a period piece
from a specific culture.
Let me give you one that I saw recently. So last night I told you I went to go see Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
The lead role, the person who played the Phantom in the Phantom of the Opera, was a black gentleman.
Okay.
He friggin' nailed it. Like he absolutely nailed the part. Now, initially it was a little like, because he comes out, I think he was wearing like a hooded cloak and everything when he came out, and I couldn't see who it was, but you could see his hands, right? And
was the mask still white? Because if that's the
case, I was going to say, if you're the Phantom of the Opera and you're a black guy, would you go with a black mask?
No, the mask wasn't black. The mask was white. But I mean, he absolutely killed it. Like his voice and the way he committed to that role last night, like we walked, Mrs. Titan and I walked away from that and we went, man, he nailed it. He did such an awesome job. Right. And so I think there are times where it's fine, and you can do a little bit of experimenting. He-Man, perfect example of that. You know,
Sure.
they cast Idris Elba as Man at Arms, and he did an awesome job in that role. And I don't think, like, you're talking about a cartoon, when you talk about superheroes, like they do this a lot in
Sure.
Marvel movies, where they'll race swap. There's
Yeah.
so
Nick
many.
Fury.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're not a avid reader of comic books or anything like that, then
Sure.
you may not know, but there are several different universes
Yeah.
within the role
Right.
of a particular superhero or a villain, right?
Sure.
And there's so many different variants of that. So when they change or they do race swaps in Marvel movies, I'm not always off put by it, but it needs to be the right person for the job, not just putting somebody in who's a different
Sure.
from a different ethnic background for the
Well, right.
sake of meeting a DEI quota.
You
course.
want to have you imagine that the best person for the job is the one that they will select, who is going to be
Right.
the best version of this character, as opposed to necessarily saying, all right, we're going to hire the best person of this color to play this
Right.
character,
That's
and
a
sort
great way
of
of putting
and sort of cut it off at the pass. And you're just like, well, okay, well, wait a minute.
Yeah, and that happened with the character that Zendaya played. Zendaya, as we know, is
I'm so burnt
married,
out on her.
married to Tom Holland. She was the one who played Athena, right? But here's the thing. I don't believe she was actually Athena. In the movie, like the last 30 minutes of the movie is really wrapped up, because this is where Odysseus is he's in hiding as a beggar, and he's talking to his wife Penelope before she even knows who he is. And she was like, tell me about the war, tell me about what you know about Odysseus. And he go back and he's retelling the story of, when we sacked Troy, basically I saw like 10 years of anger and frustration pour out onto a city in one night when we opened those gates after they kind of did the Trojan horse business. Throughout the movie, Matt Damon has conversations with Athena, Zendaya's character, right? Not Greek, not physically Greek, she's not fair-skinned at all, right? But she was Athena, or the vision that Odysseus had as Athena. And a part of that, which I thought was kind of brilliantly done as well, she wasn't actually Athena. When they were sacking the city of Troy, he happened to be at the steps of one of the altars of the statue of Athena. And he sees his guys, right, the Greeks, bringing up this girl, and it's Zendaya, right? She's like a servant girl, and they do the motion where like they bring up the sword to the back of her neck, and then they raise it, and then they bring it down. They don't show it, but they highly suggest it with the visual. And then as soon as that sword came down, then you see at the top one of the Greek soldiers beheads the statue of Athena, and the head falls. My theory is Matt Damon, his character Odysseus, now associates that servant girl's face with Athena, and she's the one who's leading him on the path every time he says, well, I just got visited by Athena and I had a conversation with her. When he's talking to Calypso or whoever, it's her. But that flashback in the last 30 minutes of the movie, when he's telling the story of the sacking of Troy, that's where her character comes into play. She was like a servant girl in the city of Troy who gets her head, I don't know, what can we say for the decapping?
Well, I think you just said it.
Lopped off. Right.
It goes missing.
Yes, it doesn't show it, but it's very suggestive because of the way they filmed it. And that's what I believe how they were able to get around with the casting of her as the embodiment of Athena.
It's not Athena, it's the representation of Athena.
Representation of Athena.
Odysseus recognizes.
Right. That's I thought that was a kind of brilliant way to play that. But the character Sinan with Ellen Page, small, feeble, the little boy that gets to go to Troy when they do casting lots in Ithaca, like who's going to go, who's going to stay. And
that's where they should have cast Elliot Page.
Well, that's where they cast Elliot Page. Elliot Page was that character Sinan, who was small in stature, was a little boy, and the little boy just never really got a big stature. And I'm saying, why did they have to cast her in that role rather than some other short-statured person who would have fit that just as well?
Completely
right?
agree.
And it's not this whole controversy that leads up to it just to get people talking about it and go, oh my God, if you don't accept it, then you're a transphobe person or whatever the case may be. It just didn't make sense. It seemed like it was inappropriately cast, right? Because Ellen Page, even as Elliot Page, has that voice. And I know you know what I'm talking about when you see a trans man.
It's from being on testosterone. A woman's voice changes.
It sounds like a prepubescent teenage boy mixed with that of a midget or a munchkin. oh God, guys, the way they talk, and maybe I'm putting too much vocal fry on it, but that kind of whining, sniveling, it's not really manly, but yet this is portraying a man. It doesn't sound like one at all, not even in the slightest. That was my take on that, though. But other than that, like I said, those few moments where the distraction took me out of the suspension of disbelief. But ultimately, the rest of the movie, without that 7 to 10 minutes of Lupita Nyong'o, that 5 to 7 minutes of Ellen Page, the rest of the movie I thought was really well done. Really well done.
Your final verdict on this movie, smash or pass?
I'm gonna steal a term that Redbeard Riot often uses. It's a good popcorn flick, but I don't believe it's going to be winning any Academy Awards. If it does, it's for the wrong reasons. If it wins anything for Academy Awards, it should definitely win for cinematography. The cinematography was beautiful, but that's
smash
about
or pass. You got to give us a rating.
I'll go with my instinct. I would smash.
Would you watch it? You'd watch this again?
I would watch it again, but I would watch it again with someone who didn't see it. Because if you've already seen it, I'm not going to bother.
Okay, so
it's like
all the hate comments that we're surely going to get for this.
Yes,
to Sergeant Grumpy Pants.
I would smash it. I wouldn't pass it. I would smash it. I would see it again. I would. But here's the caveat: I didn't have to pay for it this time, so that was kind of nice. I went in there going, "Oh, a free flick.
No,
not bad." David,
had you paid for it, would you come away angry?
Yeah, probably.
Well, there you have it.
I would definitely be like, nope, no, I'm not going to spend my hard-earned whatever it was.
Oh my!
Tickets.
There you have it. All right, well, fam, if you're wondering whether you should go and see this movie or not, Sergeant Grumpy Pants says that this movie was worth seeing. It's a smash. We'll let you decide.
Go and see it if you can get in free.
Yeah, go see if you can get in for free. I'm not
absolutely.
I'm not saying theater hop. Don't do that. I'm not advocating for the theft of piracy of movies. I will say,
evil man,
if you can get in for free because you know someone who works at a movie theater and you get the employee.
Or you can wait for it to stream.
You can wait for it to stream. I think you're definitely good on waiting for it because it's nothing that is such a sprawling epic. You're like, oh my God, this changed my life. And if it did, then you probably need to reevaluate yourself and your life.
You got to get out a little bit more.
Oh my.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, look, everyone, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. You found Smoke Signals and Side Quest over on YouTube and Twitch. I forgot to mention that earlier. You can also find us over on Spotify and Amazon Music. The following day on Sundays, we upload the audio version of this to Spotify and Amazon Music on Sundays. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. If you've got some comments, and if you've seen this movie, we'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And if you're not going to see this movie, leave a comment down below and let us know why. Is the casting choices and some of the direction of this movie just a little bit too much for you to swallow? Too much for you to open up that wallet and spend your hard-earned cash on it?
Your $37.
Understand. Yeah, this is probably one of the most ratioed movies in history. So I think people are going to be talking about this one for a while, better or worse. But gentlemen, let's get on with our next segment, Retro Heyo Riff Raff.
Oh my.
Woo!
Oh, yeah. Well, gentlemen, in honor of the Odyssey, the time period that we're looking at here for that particular movie, we are going to take a look here at some other movies that you may have seen, and we're going to try to guess a few of them. They are somewhat in the same vein, and when we talk about Retro Heyo Riff Raff, we're going to be looking at broadswords and battle axes. And that is going to be we're gonna call this medieval combat. Is the theme of what we're looking at here for you. So that's going to be a little bit of a clue to move you forward here. And just so you guys know, there is going to be a scorecard here. So You are going to develop some points, and we'll see if you can't beat each other, and we'll see if you can't beat the house. Now, I'm not going to tell you how those points are scored. That would be too easy, unfortunately. So what we're going to go ahead and do is get started here.
Yay!
We're going to go with round one.
Bring it on.
We're ready to go?
Yeah.
We're ready to go.
All righty, boys. Here's your first clue. Who has the eagle? Now, if you know the movie, or if you want to guess the movie at any point, you got to shout out. In fact, on A, B, and C clues, you have to guess the movie. Go. Cigar Titan, go. Guess the movie right now.
Who has the eagle? Man, I have nothing.
3, 2, 1, and Sergeant Grumpy Pants.
Gladiator.
Yes. Gladiator. No, that's okay. That's okay.
Failure.
The last Roman to hold the eagle was your father.
Ooh.
Is this Troy?
No, sir. That is not correct. That is not correct.
That would be a Greek.
I'm just gonna say Troy for every one of these. So
You fail. You do fail on that. Sergeant Grumpy Pants.
I'm going to say the eagle.
Sergeant Grumpy Pants. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, never mind. I thought it was a movie with Channing Tatum where he played like a Roman centurion.
The eagle is not a piece of metal. The eagle is Rome.
a lot of
Cigar
eagles
Titan.
and birds in this movie.
Yeah.
Cigar Titan, do you have a guess?
I'm gonna go with Sergeant Grumpy Pants's the eagle.
You can go that way.
I could go that way.
You could go that way. Well, if you guys are going to say it's the eagle,
you're a goddamn genius.
That's right.
Oh, what?
That is
Get the fuck
correct.
out of here. I knew it.
It is.
You
was
swindler.
It was the eagle.
I've never
actually.
seen this movie. Is this one worth watching?
Channing Tatum. To me or who?
Yeah, either one of you. I've never seen this movie.
It was
Okay.
it was a pretty decent movie. It wasn't bad.
It's been a little while. I have not seen this in a little while.
2011.
I probably would watch it again. It was all right. Gentlemen, you did a terrible job. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what the next one.
But I got a bad job, but I got it right. I'm helping.
No, I don't know that you did get it right. I don't know that you did. All the warlords loved by the gods. I hate him the most.
This is Troy. That's Agamemnon.
Agamemnon.
Yeah, that guy. That's Troy. 2004. Brad Pitt.
Sergeant Grumpy Pants scoring some points on the board. And unfortunately, Cigar Titan. Well, let's see. Cigar Titan, do you agree? Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I think
I have endured what no one on earth has endured. I kissed the hands of the man who killed my son.
Yeah,
Peter
I mean, the
O'Toole.
next 8 movies, I'm just going to say Troy. I'm bound
All
to
of
be right
them?
on all of them.
Just
One
all of them.
Yeah.
Imagine a king who fights his own battles. Wouldn't that be a sight? Gentlemen, you seem to have settled on Troy.
Yes,
and
sir.
That, in fact, is the correct answer.
Now, I did not ask this while you were giving your movie review, Sergeant Grumpy Pants, but Troy or the Odyssey, which is
Troy.
the better movie?
Troy.
Okay.
Troy's more action-packed with the big war, epic, sprawling battle scenes, and the Odyssey is it's a struggle bus, man. The entire time you're in there waiting, like you're feeling the moment with Odysseus. You're like, fucking get home already, man.
Can I just get home already? You feel like you're at work on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt like the kid in the backseat, proverbial.
The whole entire movie.
What?
Yes, sir. Let's take a look at round 3.
Troy.
Troy? Yes, you
Nailed
are
it.
correct. We all end up dead. It's just a question of how and why.
Braveheart, 1995, Mel Gibson.
Son of a bitch. Cigar Titan.
I told you he was the resident.
Are you
movie expert.
gonna come up with anything here? Let's see.
I mean, the second line I would have gotten it. Yeah, for sure.
The second
Got to do it
one,
with
every man
the Scottish
dies.
accent. Come on, do it with the Scottish accent. Do the last one. Come on.
Every man dies, but not every man truly lives.
Oh
Fucking
my
nailed it.
gosh. Finally.
Yes.
Finally, some points on the board for Cigar Titan.
What?
Oh my goodness.
I'm
Tell
gonna
your
get snubbed
enemies
at every
that-
turn.
that they make you our lives, but they'll never take
Our
our
freedom.
freedom. Yep.
You want to look under my kilt and see me bagpipes?
Oh, don't know about all that.
Elliot Page is going.
Gentlemen, you are talking about Braveheart.
Elliot Page has got a tambourine, not bagpipes. It's smooth down there like a Kindle.
The next movie is Troy. So just so everybody knows. At my signal, unleash hell.
Gladiator 2001. Russell Crowe.
I'm gonna have to make these harder.
Yeah,
If
I
I'm-
think
if I'm
so.
if I'm handing out points,
Well, you were the one that said, "Hey, you got to guess at every question." here,"
Everyone.
so-
If I can get it on the first one, I will. The first one stumped me a little bit, but I thought it was the Eagle. But yeah, this one I'm sure of Gladiator. Russell Crowe.
Cigar Titan. How do you feel about that?
I'm leaning Gladiator.
Maybe that might be what it is.
That might be
He's the
what
ha-
it is.
Win
He's
the
the
crowd
happiest
and
haters.
you win your freedom.
Yeah, it's definitely Gladiator.
It's yes. I mean, no.
I knew you.
Are you not entertained? Now I'm
He
doing
wasn't
everything.
Scottish.
That's not the accent. That's deduction of points.
Oh no!
Oh no. Yes, right.
This movie stands up
Oh,
today.
2000.
This is still an excellent
really is.
movie. Did you call the wrong year on this movie?
I
I'm gonna
did.
have
I
to
said
deduct-
2001.
yeah,
my
I'm gonna
bad.
have to deduct points from you, buddy.
Ugh.
That's
Now, gentlemen, have
Feel
either
bad.
of you seen Gladiator Part 2?
No,
nope,
no.
Okay.
no.
I have not
you?
either. I
No?
have not seen it. I couldn't get behind the casting decisions in that.
Well,
movie.
guess what? Sergeant Grumpy Pants is doing next week. Gladiator Part 2.
God, no way.
It's got what's his name in it. That's in. Oh gosh, he's in The Last of Us, and
Joaquin Hairlip.
no. Oh man, he was in The Mandalorian.
Oh,
Is it-
Pedro Pascal.
Thank you, Pedro Pascal. Yes.
Oh, that guy. Oh,
Pedro Pascal.
that guy.
Between him and Zendaya, like they're in every movie now.
Our arrows will blot out the sun.
300.
Oh, 300.
Gerard
yeah.
Butler.
Oh, you should have been quicker, Titan. That's Grumpy Pants'.
I'm gonna say
That's fair.
2006. 2006.
I think that was
Are- are you-
2004.
Are you prepared to lose points if you're wrong?
No, I'm gonna say 2006. I'm sticking with it.
I'm saying 2004.
Ready your
Pro-
breakfast and eat, for tonight we dine in hell. Yeah.
Definitely Gerard Butler.
Still 300.
300.
Yep. This
Somebody
is
do it.
Sparta. This is Sparta.
This is.
I will say the
Sparta.
best thing that has come out of casting Elliot Page in the Odyssey
Oh,
have been
God.
all of the
The AIs,
memes.
the memes.
Yeah, the AI memes. Oh my god, they're
Oh,
so
yeah.
great.
They're really good.
Gentlemen, unfortunately, this is Sparta. Yes, 2006. What did you say, Grumpy Pants?
2006.
He said
baby.
2006.
Well, I'm not giving you extra points for that. I was only going to take them
can't-
away if
I'm-
you were wrong.
Can't win for losing.
Yeah. No, I think you're in the lead at the moment. I think you are. This just tells you how difficult next week's game is going to be.
Yep.
I trust you had an historic evening.
I'm gonna need more.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to make a guess.
I trust
Interview
you
with a
on this
Vampire.
evening. No,
Yes.
no. That wouldn't be it. Epic, sprawling movies.
Trust you had a historic evening.
This is the
Spartacus.
other guys.
So Spartacus.
Yes, with Will Ferrell. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mother, spare me your farmyard memories. You have none and I don't understand them.
I'm still gonna have to say Spartacus. I don't think it's right, but I'm sticking with
Spartacus
it.
still.
Yeah.
Cigar Titan.
I got nothing.
I should be deducting points on this. You guys are terrible. Rise and rise again until lambs become lions.
Hercules
Kingdom of Heaven.
with The Rock.
I'm going to say that maybe neither one of you gentlemen. Yes, you're correct. It is The Rock. What did you say? Hercules?
Hercules.
You said Hercules.
Yes. But
Are you
no.
serious?
No. No.
Robin
Oh, I never
Hood.
saw this one.
I haven't seen this
Yeah.
one either.
Listen, my Robin Hood is the Prince of Thieves. All right, 1991. All right, so let's not sully the name of Kevin Costner. with-
I
Yeah.
am going to go ahead and recommend you watch this movie at least one time.
Really? Is it that good?
This
Is
is
it
a good flick.
Popcorn flick?
This is a good flick.
It looks
I wouldn't-
like some good cinematography in there.
I don't know if I would necessarily call it epic, historical. Some decent battle in here. Russell Crowe plays a good character, and give that one a watch. In fact, that's your homework. That's your homework for next week. If you don't do your homework, minus 100 points.
Tawny Ramson says AI viewers streamboo.com. I'm not sure what that is. Tawny, so
Sounds like
if there's more context to that, you
Yeah.
want to throw it in the chat, please feel free.
Sure.
That may be talking about your
That's what I
Ellen
think.
Page memes.
Yeah.
The All-Father wove the skein of your life a long time ago. Go and hide in a hole if you wish, but you won't live one instant longer.
I don't have anything. I don't think I've seen this
Thor.
movie.
This is a little bit more obscure. You may have never seen this movie.
Oh,
A man
couldn't
might be
Thor.
thought wealthy if someone were to draw the story of his deeds, that they may be remembered.
Is it pre-2000? 1998, 1999?
You think you get clues?
Well, I mean, yeah, I got A, B, and C. I mean, can I,
Well, I mean, there's your clues. What do you want from me?
What are we
You wanna-
doing here?
Is it bigger than a baby's arm?
now?
Let's give it one more
Wishful
shot
thinking
here,
on my
boys. Lo, there do I see the line of my people back to the beginning. Lo, they do call me. They bid me take my place among them in the halls of Valhalla, where the brave may live forever.
Valhalla. Oh God. Got to be a Viking movie. Valhalla. It has to be a Viking movie, and it has to be. Which I actually like this movie. I think it got really ripped apart, but I'm going to say it was 1998 or 1999, and it has to be with Antonio Banderas, the 13th Warrior. It has to be. It has to be that. It's the only thing I
sir.
can think of that has Vikings.
You are correct.
Oh.
It's the 13th
Fucking
warrior.
nailed it. 1999. Got it.
This movie did kind of get ripped apart a little bit.
It really did.
This is another one that I would say is watch one time. It does maybe take you out of the character just a little bit, because Antonio
Sure.
Banderas is playing
An Arabian.
an Arab Islamic type of character,
Yeah.
and he doesn't do a bad job. And the movie is certainly different than your typical movie, but definitely I think this is worth at least a watch. And it is one that I will go back and take a look at from time to time.
Yeah, I like this movie. Don't ask me why. I just do.
Cigar Titan, now you have your homework. Man, you've got a lot to do.
Yeah, well, I have a lot to do. That's why I haven't seen a lot of these movies.
Oh, are we ready for round 8?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do this. Male character says, "You look frightened. There's a large number of lonely men out there." Female replies, "Don't worry, I won't let them grape you."
Grape you?
You know,
Well,
that's the
That's
substitute
the word I need to use.
Oh, in lieu of.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Cancel culture.
Because
Oh, boy.
at all.
Oh, community standards.
You're right.
Community.
Fucking HR lady's gonna make us apologize again.
Got anything going, boys?
Not
Not
for
yet.
this.
Not
All right,
yet.
let's take a look at another. I like the little bastards. They mean something to me, especially number 3. He's a good fighter.
Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
You know what? That's actually pretty on par with the wording, little bastards, but I don't think they ever refer to the hobbits as little bastards.
They should have. They absolutely should have.
I don't think they ever called them that, though. They should have. No, I'm not going to say it's definitely not Lord of the Rings. They would not have used... Their dialogue was better than the Odyssey's. And that was a fantasy piece. I got nothing right now, though.
Nothing to go? Let's see. What do we got here? For the second part of the bargain they struck, indebted not only themselves, but also their sons and so on, to serve the empire as knights. I was such a son.
Knights. First Night with Richard Gere and Sean Connery as King Arthur. Damn it!
That was a
No,
good
not
guess.
First Night. Not First Night.
Yes,
I'm not First Night.
That was a good guess.
I got Excalibur. But although I don't think that they would have used
There you
that
go.
wording as
Nailed
well. I'm thinking
Nailed
of
it.
knights. You know, like Merlin and King Arthur and Lancelot and all that shit. Knights would have been like Knights Templar. I don't think. I got nothing. I don't know.
Troy.
Nothing? No guess? This is King Arthur, 2004.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Clive Owen as King Arthur and Keira Knightley was as Guinevere. Yeah.
How was this
Generally-
movie?
Generally a pretty decent movie.
Ray Winston.
You know
was
what
a-
movie
good
sucked was
character in
A
this one.
Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger.
Oh, watch your tongue. Excuse me, what?
Whoa.
That
No,
movie
sir.
was
Uh-uh.
garbage. Really?
Hold,
You guys
hold
like
on a
that
minute.
movie?
I love that movie. That was such a great one. But they intentionally put modern
Yes.
music in a period
Yes.
piece. They did it
Garbage.
intentionally though. But it was so good. It was campy, and that was the best part of it.
But
'cause
it wasn't.
didn't take itself
It
too
wasn't
seriously.
taking itself seriously as a
Right,
period
it's-
piece.
Exactly.
It was.
That's the best
though.
part. No. They were literally just skirting around the edge of seriousness with
Bite your
the-
tongue, cigar
with the-
cigar titan. That's deduction
Yeah.
of points. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
I like
That
Knight's
was a
Tale. Knight's
trash
Tale's a good
movie.
one.
I
And
stand
Heath
on
Ledger in
that.
that movie with his
Oh.
blonde hair was so dreamy.
Oh,
Oh,
whoa. Okay, now slow down, Grumpy Pants. You're getting a little off the rails there. Let's see what we've got next coming up, boys. We got round number 9. We're only getting harder. Conquer your fear, and I promise you, you will conquer death.
Batman Begins.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, that's
No.
not right.
No.
No, you're fucking with me.
No. Half your nobles have sisters who would make fine Macedonian mothers.
Is this Alexander, the one with Colin Farrell as Alexander the Great?
I don't know, is it?
I'm thinking it might be. Alexander and Angelina Jolie played his mom.
Angelina Jolie. Where's she gone to?
I don't know. She's been doing
Raising
crazy.
her
Angelina
Himalayan
Jolie.
whistle kids.
Doing crazy things?
Yeah. Turning
Go
her
tell
kids
Alexander
friends.
yourself. And if he won't listen, then survive me and avenge this betrayal.
I think it's it. It's Alexander. It's got to be Alexander.
You think it's Alexander?
I think it's Alexander. With,
I think
with,
that's a
Colin
safe
Farrell.
bet.
Yeah.
What an underwhelming movie.
Yep. It was really underwhelming. The best part about it was Rosario Dawson and her topless scene. That was about it.
They did some. There was some good battle action, but this one I think struggled with. I don't know that Colin Farrell was the right casting choice.
I think
No.
the problem with this is I think Troy came out the same year. And you
Got
had
foreshadowed.
Brad Pitt. Yeah, you had Brad Pitt as Achilles, and he had the bleach blonde hair and everything. And then they did this with Alexander, and you had Colin Farrell with bleach blonde hair. And I think that just, I don't know.
It's
For me, I
too
was
much
like,
peroxide.
yeah, it was too much peroxide for 1 year. You know what I'm saying?
For one single year. No, that's a problem. This movie also was terribly long.
It's 2004 was the year of the frosted tips.
Whoa.
Yep. How long was this movie?
It was a long movie.
It was a long movie.
Yeah,
It was
a very long
hurtfully long. I was fine watching it once. Like, I didn't hate the movie,
Right.
but when I got done with it, I was like, oh, okay, that was a movie.
If I remember correctly,
That was a movie.
I think Anthony Hopkins was in this movie as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was in this movie. Anthony Hopkins.
You may be correct. You might be correct. I'm not sure about that, gentlemen. Let's go to the final round.
Ooh.
Close this thing off.
Final boss fight.
What is Jerusalem worth?
This is Kingdom of Heaven.
Is it?
Yep. Orlando Bloom and God, what's the guy's name? You don't know me, but I have a particular set of skills.
Oh, Liam
Skills that
Neeson.
make me a nightmare. Yeah, thank you, Liam Neeson. That's the guy's name. A particular set of skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Oh, goodness gracious. I love I don't love what you're talking about. This is a different movie. Your quality will be known among your enemies before ever you meet them, my friend.
Yeah, it's Kingdom of Heaven. Edward Norton was the king with the Leper King. He was the leper guy. The Leper
Edward
King.
Norton?
Yeah, Edward Norton, the guy that played Incredible Hulk in 2008 as Bruce Banner. Before he got recast from the guy
American
that's
History X.
Yeah,
You might be
History X
right.
was a good
I'd
movie.
have to look that up. For a second, I was like, Leonardo DiCaprio, but no, that's the man in the Iron Mask. But
No,
a similar.
It's very definitely. Yeah, I'm wearing masks.
Be without fear in the face of your enemies. Be brave and upright, that God may love thee. Speak the truth always, even if it leads to your death.
Yep.
Safeguard the helpless and do no wrong. This is your oath.
Yep.
And that is so that you will remember it.
He smacks the shit out of him.
Yeah, it does. And this is an excellent movie. If you haven't
is a
seen
good
this movie, you need to do that.
Yeah.
I will
Good
have to
movie.
do that. Haven't seen this one either.
Again, long, but good.
A lot of these period piece movies are long. I think that's like what you come to expect when you see any period piece movies or shows. They're
And I
always
think-
very long.
This one's based off of, I think, the second or the third Crusade. I could be wrong.
I think it has a
But
lot
look
to do with character development, which is why they
Yeah.
stretch the length of these films out so much, because they're, when you're talking about historical characters and building on that, like you need to give them some screen time and really
My helmet
iron
blew.
that out. Yeah.
This movie, I wouldn't say feels long. It may
No?
go long, but it doesn't feel long. It seems to keep the pace fairly well. Now, it's been a minute since I watched this movie, so maybe I need to revisit it, but I don't remember ever feeling like, oh, I wish this would hurry up and end.
Right. Head east until
No.
they speak Italian.
Anyway,
And then keep going until they speak
um,
something else.
you guys lost,
All right.
but actually,
I don't think we've won
I will-
any of these games. How do you win one of these games?
You know what? I've been investigating exactly that. And certainly when I find the answer, I'm getting very close. I'm getting very close to an answer. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of suspicions, but I am getting very close.
You just
Can I at
ask
least
some
get a-
questions.
Can I at least get a participation award?
I'll think
Like a
about it.
ribbon? Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
Maybe.
That was good. That was a good one. I like that. Well, welcome everybody. If you're just joining us for the first time, hello, howdy, how are you? You have found Smoke Signals and Side Quests over on YouTube and Twitch. We go live every Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to catch just the audio version, that drops on Sunday the following day over on Spotify and Amazon Music. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more, and you can leave a comment down below for a future episode. Maybe there's something you'd like to see us talk about. Maybe there's a hot trending topic that just, something you want to see ironed out here with the Smoke Signals and Side Quest crew. Leave that down below in the comments. Also, if you're just joining us for the first time and you're following us, let us know. Let's say, hey, hi, how are you? I'm so-and-so. Give me a shout out on your next episode. We'd be happy to do that. All right, gentlemen, let's get into our next episode called Co-op Mode.
That little
Sweet.
transition had the epic sprawling of what I think Christopher Nolan was trying to nail with the Odyssey, but you did a much better job of it.
That's what it was
Yeah.
going for.
And it
Yeah,
took me
I think
like
so.
took me 2 minutes to put that together too. So
That looked like zero CGI.
Exactly.
That was all practical effects.
And a million gallons of
Exactly.
water swallowed up.
Well, gentlemen, a couple of topics that I wanted to talk about today, specifically around some video game stuff that's been going on in the news. Over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of topics around, or discussions rather, around some of the decisions that are being made by Sony and Microsoft Studios. And one of the biggest things that have come up out of those discussions recently is the transition away from physical discs. Sony announced that in 2028, they will no longer be producing games on physical discs. And I'd love to get your thoughts on this as games continue to evolve and grow. And I've heard some rumors that the upcoming Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be somewhere in the realm of 300 gigabytes to download. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty massive game. And, when this game, initially gets launched, it's only going to be available on consoles, which I thought was an interesting strategy. I don't know if they have some particular deal with consoles, Sony in particular, because that seems to be the company that they're really focusing a lot of their marketing on recently. But there are going to be these massive games in the future. And, I think when you're talking about what does this mean for like brick and mortar stores going forward, places like GameStop, that offer, physical copies of video games. When you went to pre-order Grand Theft Auto 6, if you wanted a physical copy, you could certainly go into a GameStop and pre-order your physical copy. But the stipulation to that was you're not going to get a disc inside the box. You'll get the box, but it comes with a download code in the box.
You get an empty box.
You're getting an empty box. There's nothing.
Yay.
What's in the box? There's nothing in the box. That's the catch.
What's in the box?
Yeah, so I thought this was an interesting topic I'd throw out there to the group, and I get your thoughts on it. Now, I know Sergeant Grumpy Pants and Red Beer Wright, you're not quite you're not as involved in the gaming community as I am. I would say I'm the well, hold on. I would say I'm the resident video game expert among the three of us, right?
Sure. That's valid.
And I know that you all play your fair share of video games, but when it comes to like all of the new up and coming video games, I'm usually the one that's like, all right, I'm gonna get in there and try it out. I've been playing a game recently called Crimson Desert, and I think I may have touched on this in a short that we posted a few weeks ago. But this is an amazing, incredible game, and it got very ratioed by the critics initially when it came out. And for me, this is so far in 2026, this is going to be my game of the year, Crimson Desert. I've dropped about 300 hours into this game already, and I have no intention of finishing this game anytime soon. But what are your thoughts around no more discs in video games, for video games, and what does this mean for retailers like GameStop in the future? Red Beer Riot, what are your thoughts around that?
Well, you said it right. I'm not going to be called the video game expert by anybody. Certainly, I grew up like all of the rest of us, playing Nintendo, playing Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, all these kinds of things. And when you're a kid, you got a lot more time. But one thing that I do pay a little bit more attention to is history and marketing trends and some things that are sort of in that vein. And what I would pose to you is, here's a question. Suppose I offer you, on the one hand, you can buy a calculator, or on the other hand, you can buy a smartphone.
Sure.
what do you choose?
Normally, or
Maybe you grab the
smartphone.
calculator if it's $3, but a smartphone obviously has a calculator built into it, right? And then it does a myriad of other things. Now, the question then becomes, what happens when I offer you a console that only does downloadable video games versus a PC that will also do downloadable video games as well as a myriad other things, but they're roughly the same price. Maybe a console is slightly less, but
I think you're onto something there, Redbeard, because that used to be the argument for console gaming in the past, right? It was a lot of, well, there's a much more approachable entry point for consoles versus
Sure.
PCs, right? Because consoles were kind of a one-stop shop for everything. I think right around the time that the PlayStation 2 came out, that's really when I think consoles really started to become more of receive more of a broader acceptance among the average everyday person, because the original PlayStation 2 came with a DVD player built inside the unit. And so when you're talking about, well, when I go to a store and I wanted to, back in the early 2000s, when I want to buy a DVD player or an HD player at the time, I'm sorry, no, HD was later. Correction. But if you wanted to buy a DVD player at the time, you were spending $300 to $500 for a device that essentially only played DVDs. Or
sure.
you can go and buy this PlayStation 2 for, I think it was $299 when it was released, and it will be a DVD player. It'll be a video game console, and it had the ability to do much more. Now that we've gotten into this realm where chip shortages are more commonplace, because as AI continues to grow and develop, there's more of a demand for microchips and things of that nature. And this is driving the cost of all of those things up substantially. And this also has driven up the cost of consoles. So I think when the original PlayStation 5 launched, it was, I want to say it was $499. When it originally launched, and there were two versions. There was the disc version, and then there was the digital only version of the PlayStation 5 when it launched. Since the chip shortages have become a much greater, more prominent issue, and costs have gone up, I want to say that the PlayStation now is somewhere over $700. One of you can probably fact check me on that.
Yeah.
And the PlayStation Pro is close to like $900.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're looking for the best experience on console, especially for something like Grand Theft Auto 6, the PlayStation Pro is probably going to be the console that you want to run that game.
Right. Let me get your thoughts on this. Again, taking it back to sort of a marketing and business analysis. Do we all remember here a year or two ago when Bud Light took a little bit of a hit on some of their sales? They had a little bit of a problem.
I remember something around that, casting somebody by the name of Dylan Mulvaney as one of their spokespersons.
And the problem here is they came up against a fundamental misunderstanding of who their customers are. They sort of decided to go ahead and ignore that, right? And I think that there may be something similar happening here as well, because, listen, I don't know any gamer who is a serious gamer that doesn't have their collection that is, it takes up a display case. They have their old consoles. They have their old games. It's nostalgic. They collect this stuff. What are you supposed to collect when all you get is a console, but you get no physical media? What are you supposed to put on the shelf and show your kids? This is the game that I played in, 2016, where I put in 1,700 hours to do this, that, and the other. This is important to people. You want to be able to have these mementos, and I think that is a fundamental misunderstanding by the game makers.
I agree. I think that it also ties into, and this may even be a more prominent issue for folks out there who are looking to buy video games today, which is what does your right to ownership mean going forward if all you have is essentially a digital license to a game, but you no longer own the physical copy of that game going forward? Sergeant Grumpy Pants, what do you think about that? I mean, is that important to you? Is it important for you to be able to own a physical copy of a game, or are you completely content with allowing these companies like Sony and in retrospect, their third-party developers to basically give you a license that you're technically, do you own it or do you not own it? If it's a digital only license, it means at any point in time that license can be revoked. They can take that away. They can delete the game. What are your thoughts around that?
Well, PlayStation definitely found another way to make money off of a product that they otherwise wouldn't make money off of, because there are people who would buy disc games and say, oh my God, this game is so great. Oh, well, I have a system, but I can't afford that game right now. Oh, I'll let you borrow my copy. And then they could pass it around, and then they could play it if they had the physical disc. What they've essentially done is eliminated that ability to do so. And now they're going to be able to make money off of, you can only buy the digital copies. You can't pass around this disc to your friends. Like when you bought a CD and you're like, oh, I have this new Toadies CD, you should listen to it. Be like, oh, I don't have it. Oh, like, great, I'll let you borrow it, right? And you can go ahead and rip it. And then you can just, have the digital version of it that way. They definitely, it's no different than what Disney did with the fast passes, right? Everybody had a ticket. You could scan it. You come back at this time. It was a free service, but then they found a way to make money off of this, and people will pay. And it's not just a single multipass. There's tiers to this as well, where they say, well, it's a single multipass where you get on kind of privileged, but then they got the multi pass, right, where you can go all the rides. So they did it in tiers. I'm wondering if PlayStation, I'm not trying to give them ideas here, but I'm wondering if they're going to wind up doing something along that line where they say, well,
I don't think they're watching.
Right. But I mean, they might not be, but they did have, what was it, 2010, 2011, when they released Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and then they came out with like the Black Ops edition, or the one where you could get the night vision goggles with it, and the hard one where it was a hard case. It was just like the step ups, right? You got these little fun perks, but they did it back then with the hard cases where you actually had a disc. I'm wondering if they'll start doing stuff like that with digital download, or if they already haven't been doing that.
That's a great call.
Probably have been. I'm wondering if they have, but it's just a ploy for them to make money and really be able to say, oh, you can't disc share anymore. Now that person wants to play it, they're going to come to your house, play underneath your settings on your account, on your PlayStation. You can't do console sharing anymore. They'll probably eliminate that, where now you can only log into one PlayStation. Even if you have multiple consoles in your house, they'll probably say you can't console share anymore. Yeah, and I have these PlayStations in my house. I have one in my bedroom, the living room, the front room, and then in one of my daughter's rooms, right? So if I didn't want to play in a particular part of the house because other people are playing on it, I want to go there and play with my stuff, but I can't console share, then I have to, rebuy the game, download it to that particular console. So I'm spending, $60, $70 for, and I remember when games, first digital downloads, they were like $50, like $49.99. And then the price increased. Now they're like $69.99, and they just keep going up. And then I guess they have various versions of this, that the price tiers go up depending on how in depth you want to get, or how serious, I guess, when it comes to the online aspect of a game, if there even is an online aspect of it. It's just PlayStation's way of making more money and eliminating the ability to disc share, in my opinion.
Shouldn't you expect to see the prices come down in a similar fashion to, let's say, for example, digital ebooks?
Right.
Yes.
You go to Barnes and Noble and you buy a hardback book, and it's, $30 if it's, a top tier author, right. If it's Stephen King, or if it's, one of these others, you can buy that ebook for a fraction of that. You can buy that for $5, maybe less. And it seems to me that with a lack of, so let's say, oh, you don't need to manufacture these discs anymore. You don't need to make any of that stuff. You don't need to pay any people to do that. you are basically eliminating all of that cost.
Sure.
The price needs to be like $20.
Yeah,
I agree.
well, and the
Good.
price never will be. And you made two very excellent points there, Redbeard and Sergeant Grumpy Pants. One, if we're eliminating the cost of physical items, then in theory, the cost of that product should go down, but it's not. I just bought Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, which is the remake of the 2013 Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And the price for that for the standard edition was, and I bought it digitally, was $59.99. And then the upgraded version was $10 more, and you get some skins and things like that. And I think that was $69.99 for that version. And then that ties into another point that you made, Sergeant Grumpy Pants, that I think is really important. That kind of ties into what Redbeard was saying earlier when it comes to collectors, which is it's not always just about the disc. Yeah, for a collector, that's a big part of it. You want to have something to show. That's why I'm so proud of like my Super Nintendo collection and my Nintendo collection, right? I've got all these cartridges and everything of these games, and it just feels good to have them. I know I can't take them with me when I die, but it's something cool, physical that I have that, a studio or a developer can't then decide they don't want people to have access to that anymore and take that away from me. As long as I've got a console that works and I've got that cartridge, that game is always going to be available for me to play. But the point I'm trying to make here is when it comes to collector's versions of the games, oftentimes, like what you said years ago when they originally released Modern Warfare, I don't remember it was the second or the third Modern Warfare where they released the night vision goggles, and you get all this extra stuff, right? I know they did this with God of War where they had a thing, it was like a chest for the collector's version, and inside the chest it had a booklet of different things about the game and stuff like that. And for collectors, they love this stuff. So if we end up in a digital only world, what I've seen a lot of these video games doing now is getting away from providing physical collectors items and doing digital items where it's like, okay, you can get the soundtrack to the game or you can get a digital art book of the game, but that doesn't have the same kind of weight that a physical item
tactile.
does. It's not tactile. But on the flip side of that, like I ordered a game from Atari, and I'm so pissed off. So I ordered the Mortal Kombat collection from Atari late last year. I think it was in October. And this was supposed to come with a bunch of collector's items. And this, I've got tons of emails going back and forth with Atari on this. I still have yet to receive my physical items from that collector's version. And it's coming up on almost a year now since that, very close to it anyway, since that game has been released. And Atari still has not sent out the physical collector's aspects of that purchase that I had. When they initially sent me the game, it was a physical copy of the game, but the game was open and was very clearly a used copy of the game. So I emailed them back and I said, hey, I want like a new game. I want a sealed version of this game. And where's the rest of my stuff? Like I paid for this. Oh, well, this will be sent out later. We ended up getting more orders for this than we anticipated, but this has been months now. And I still haven't gotten it. But I think that's a great point. When you're talking about what this means for collectors, like it's not driving down the price for consumers, and anything they're doing now seems to be digital only. From a collector's perspective, Redbeard Riot, as a collector, what would you do? Where do you go from here?
Well, I guess the question that I want to know is, if I am not, let's say I decide to go off of console and I decide to go to PC, will PC give me a physical copy when I buy that game that's available for PC?
Yeah, that's
and if that's the case, that may end up being the way to go on that, which is why I'm thinking about, like, do consoles ultimately end up competing with PCs? Is there enough value there in a console that's just a brick that downloads stuff?
I I don't think you're going to get physical copies of games on PC anymore. Everything is really run by two major online stores on PC, which is Steam and the Epic Game Store. And most PCs and laptops that are made and manufactured today, if you've noticed, maybe you haven't, most of them don't come with a disk drive anymore either. So there's no way to play any kind of physical media on a lot of the gaming PCs that are coming out today. They're set up to really just take advantage of that digital only platform. But do you gentlemen remember a game that came out a few years ago called PT?
Nope.
No.
This was I know you guys have played it. This was a Hideo Kojima game that came out years ago. It was a PT, stands for playable trailer or playable teaser. And it was supposed to be a game that was announcing the new Silent Hills game made by Hideo Kojima, who makes Metal Gear. He's largely responsible for the Metal Gear franchise. Used to work for Konami. Now he's doing his own thing with Kojima Productions. But this game came out, and it originally launched on PlayStation 4. And it was a free downloadable trailer that you could play. They didn't tell you what the game was. It just said PT on it. And you were basically in this like hallway. And it was a rotating hallway. It was the same hallway. You would walk down a hallway, and then you make a right, and then you walk down, and then there were some steps, and you had to figure out a puzzle to solve this. And at the end of that puzzle, you found out that the lead character of the new Silent Hills game was supposed to be Norman Reedus. Is this ringing any bells?
The guy from Walking Dead?
Correct.
The guy from Boondock Saints?
Correct.
No.
No. Okay, good. Well, the reason I bring this up is because Kojima, shortly after that trailer was announced, Kojima had a falling out with Konami, and Kojima went their separate ways. And so the game Silent Hills actually never came to fruition. And the reason I bring this up is because this was a game that lived only in a digital platform. And shortly after that, Konami pulled that game off of all of its digital platforms, and the only way you are allowed to play this game to this day, if you're not playing it through a remake that somebody has, a fan has lovingly recreated, is to own a PlayStation 4 that had that trailer pre-downloaded onto the system. There's no way to go back in and actually play this game today the way that it was intended to be played, because Konami decided that it was going to take it off of all of the platforms.
How much do you think you could sell one of those PlayStations for?
Well, I have that PlayStation. I have a PlayStation 4 here with PT on it, and it actually does sell for a few $100s more than a PlayStation 4 that doesn't have the game preloaded on there. So I think this is the big concern for people today when you're talking about digital only. It's like, how much of this game do you actually own? And if a company gets a wild hair up their butt like Konami did, and they just decide that they want to pull the game down, what does that mean for people who purchase the game, Sergeant Grumpy Pants?
I've already experienced that kind of in a obscure but very parallel dynamic to what you just said. The game Friday the 13th. I love that game. I still have it in my library as a download, right? But you can't play it online because the servers went down because of the legal battles that they had of who owns the rights to Jason Voorhees, the character, or the rights to Friday the 13th, whatever. So they stopped making new maps. They stopped making new characters. They stopped doing all this stuff. And I think it was midnight, New Year's Eve, 2024, that the servers went offline. Now you can't even play it online now unless you still have the game and other people have the game, and you can create your own server, right? They can play underneath you, but the online servers that are actively being monitored for, hackers and cheaters or and just regular players who want to play this game online, they did away with that. It's been cut. It's done. And I still have the game, and I'm like, but there wasn't much of a storyline to play. It was basically an online game. And it was a fun game to play. I enjoyed it immensely. And the problem is you had mentioned earlier when you were speaking on this topic, And this is my question for you. Is that what PlayStation's going to be able to do now? Even if you buy the game, they could just take the rights away from you and you won't be able to play it anymore? Like they could just say, oh, you don't have access to this digital game anymore. You said something about that earlier, but I'm kind of paraphrasing. But is that's a legitimate question? If you buy a digital game and all of a sudden they just decide, well, we don't want you to play it anymore, can they revoke those rights for you to play this game?
So this is a very nuanced type of an answer to that question, because there's no easy black and white answer here. Because when you're talking about games, you're talking about typically two types of games that are single player only games, games like The Last of Us. What was the zombie one you recently played? Sergeant Grumpy Pants.
Days Gone,
right? That doesn't have an online mode. It's a single player story driven game. And so excuse me, I think that for those games, those are more likely to survive the sands of time. However, when you're talking about games with an online function like Friday the 13th, or more infamously, recently was a game that came out on Sony that they dumped a ton of money in, was called Concord. I think it was like $200 million or something they dumped into this game, and it lasted a couple of weeks, maybe at most, before all of the servers went offline. They just realized that there wasn't enough of a player base to keep this game up, and so they just pulled the game from all of their stores. They took down all of the servers, and you cannot.
Shouldn't they be required to like refund everybody their money?
I think there was, I think there was some of that, but that was only because the game crashed and burned so soon after being released. Right. Whereas, games like Friday the 13th, right? That game had that game had some legs for a little while. It lived for a little while. But if you were somebody who purchased that game, that's essentially a game now that you can no longer play, because the servers, at least not in the way that it was intended to be played when it launched, because those servers are no longer up and they don't exist. Right. Yeah. So not an easy answer there. And then, excuse me, I'm losing my voice.
Puberty's hard.
Yeah. The other thing was, Sony had talked about, if you have a game downloaded to your system, even if it's a single player game, and this is basically where a lot of the controversy around always online DRMs come into the conversation, where if you don't have if you have the game downloaded to your system, but you don't connect your system to the internet and log on to the PlayStation Network for 30 days, and you're just strictly in an offline mode, that game will no longer be playable on your console, even if it is a single player only game. And that's because Sony and all of these other companies have digital rights over the game. And so you can't actually go on your console and play these games anymore. So
there's going to be a lot of pissed off people.
It's going to create a lot of controversy. When this was
check in with your parole officer.
Exactly. You got to check in with your parole officer every 30 days if you want to continue playing this game. And I have on the screen here pulled up from GTA 6 intel over on X. Said Rockstar reportedly told Sony to remove GTA 6's branding from the PlayStation app after the disc controversy got too hot. So on the right side there, you see the pink and purple PlayStation logo, which was initially what the logo looked like when Grand Theft Auto 6 was announced for pre-order. And then that silently went away shortly after, and you got the normal PlayStation logo. Said Sony killed physical discs for all PlayStation games starting January 2028. The backlash was instant. Politicians calling for regulation, KFC and Domino's publicly roasting them. The internet turned on Sony overnight. A week ago, Sony had GTA 6 everywhere. The app icon changed. PlayStation 5 dashboard taken over. Store completely redesigned. No PlayStation game has ever gotten that kind of treatment. Now all of it is quietly gone. When Rockstar doesn't want to be associated with your decisions, you know it's bad. And what I loved about this was just how KFC and Domino's hopped on this bandwagon here and started trashing Sony for their decision to go digital only. And
Digital
so,
Oni.
Digital
yes.
Love it.
So Domino's Pizza in the UK put out an official statement. It says, in response to trends in the gaming industry, as of April 1st, 2027, Domino's UK will cease production of all physical pizzas and shift to production of digital pizzas only. Consumers will be able to download our full range of delicious pizza codes using the power of imagination. Enjoy them in an entirely virtual sense. And I thought that this was absolutely hilarious. And then Domino's went on to say, at the same time, our much loved Domino Ho Ho catastrophe will be updated to Domino Ho Ho. Whose dumb idea was this?
Yeah. I mean, you messed up if you got Congress doing something. If you got politicians in Congress actually like trying to fix something, you screwed up, because those guys don't do shit.
No.
What?
No. But we'll end on this. Do you gentlemen foresee this having a long-term impact on the way people play and consume this type of media? Redbeard Riot, I'll go to you for your final thoughts on this.
Well, I think I already kind of touched on it a little bit, but people are, I believe that people are going to be wanting physical media, and I don't know that you're going to be able to justify charging $80 to $100 for a digital game. What is your cost there, right? What does it cost you to make this digital game? You used to have to do this manufacturing, and so you charged $80. Now you don't have to do any of that. You're going to justify that $80? Are people going to keep paying that? No, okay, fair enough. If the market holds that, if people will still pay it, then they'll still charge it. But I don't know. You might see some competition with other game designers offering physical media as a, I don't want to say like a price undercut, but the if you've got two competing software developers, for example, and one decides, hey, we're still going to offer physical media, you can still get that on our games or something like that, then that may spark some competition in the market.
Yep. Sergeant Grumpy Pants, I'll give you a final thought. Is the price of video games too damn high? Is the rent too damn high?
It's too damn high. It's way too damn high. I don't appreciate it. I don't like it when the fact that is I'm paying for something digitally that you're now saying that they could possibly, if I don't log on in 30 days, they can revoke that, and I can't even play the single player mode, like the story mode.
Yep.
And then half the time, Call of Duty, right? It's a cool story, but how many people actually buy the Call of Duty game and play the story that don't just throw in the disc or buy the digital download and go directly online, right?
Right.
That's where it's at. The online gameplay. That's the biggest thing. I think it's gonna hurt them in the long run, specifically if people can't share discs. So other people could be like, oh yeah, I got the digital download, but I still have the hard copy. If you want, use this, put it in your system and play it, and then we can get online together and be able to do that. Nope. They're gonna eliminate and kind of alienate a portion of the people who would like to be able to play games who simply just can't afford it. And the digital downloads, if there's no justifiable, like Redbeard Riot said, you're cutting out all that cost for production and manufacturing of these hard copy discs. And how do you justify an $80 game as a digital download that then you can revoke that license if I don't log on in 30 days? Like how do you justify that?
Yeah, well, and this was back in, I want to say when the PlayStation 4 was released in 2013, back when the E3 convention was still a thing. This was Sony's big announcement and really kind of stole the spotlight from Microsoft, because Microsoft initially, when they were releasing the Xbox One, I think it was back then, said that they were going to be requiring an online DRM, meaning your console had to be connected to the internet at all times if you wanted to be playing any video games. And they just got lambasted for that. Right. And the press on that was terrible. And then Sony came out at E3 and they had a little viral video clip where it showed how consumers could trade games, and it was literally two people standing next to each other and one of them holding a physical copy of the game and handing it over to the next person and saying, here you go. And that person's like, yeah, cool, now I can try this game. And now Sony's kind of gone away from that and has gone to the dark side and done exactly what they were saying that they weren't going to do. And I think that Sony has this bad habit of, once they start doing very well, we saw this with the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2. Sony was just doing gangbusters, especially with the PlayStation 2, because that was the single best-selling console of all time. And the biggest reason for that is because they included that DVD player in there. But they were getting a little too big for their britches, and then they had a giant misstep when they announced the PlayStation 3, and the price point on the PlayStation 3 was a very large price point for the time. It was like $600 for the console. And then they had a certain chip in there, which made it more difficult for developers to develop games for that console. And so when they came out for the announcement on the PlayStation 4 and they showed how easy it was to just trade games among your friends and things like that, it won back a lot of fans and put them in some very good graces. And they've had some pretty successful years since then with just stomping Xbox sales. It's not even close when it comes to how many Xboxes they've sold versus how many PlayStations have actually been sold. And I think PlayStation just got a little bit too big for their britches. And for me, this feels like a giant misstep for them. I'm wondering if they're going to backtrack on this, or if there's more to this that Sony has yet to announce. So I'm curious to see what's coming.
I think they got to be careful. I think they got to be careful not to provoke Elon Musk into starting his own gaming console.
Oh my God.
We all know he's a gamer.
Yeah, that's a great point.
You tell the richest man in the world you're not going to own this, he might give you the middle finger.
Oh yeah,
that is a great point. I mean, you had Bill Gates come out with the Xbox. He was kind of the figurehead for that when the Xbox was initially announced. He came out on stage with The Rock and they did their formal announcement and everything. So it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Elon Musk dropped a video game console in the future, but it would need to be profitable. With Starlink. Yeah. He's done that with Starlink. He's done that with
and it'll come with a Starlink subscription.
Right.
Man, Elon Musk, if you're listening, that is a great idea.
Yeah, put us on your R&D.
Right.
That's right. Well, gentlemen, we are coming up on time here. So just one final shout out to everybody who's watching. If you're tuning into us for the first time, welcome. If you've been here before, glad to see you back. You found the Smoke Signals and Sidecast podcast over on YouTube. We air
the Sidecast.
I'm sorry, Smoke Signals and Side Quest podcast.
It is a mouthful.
YouTube.
It's a little bit of a mouthful.
That's what
we air every 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturday. You can check out the audio only versions over on Spotify and Amazon Music. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. Gentlemen, I'll give you both the final words.
Yay.
Words.
Until next week. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.